Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it's so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
Welcome in. Wow, got a frog in my throat already. It's Rays baseball playoff day. How about that? It doesn't really feel like it. I don't know why, man. I'm like, is it playoffs already? You'll be at the Trop today, Peter Blake. Happy birthday to you, by the way.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Yeah, another year older, I guess. Yeah, not too bad.
Another year better, right?
That's it. Another year better. Another year around the sun. Absolutely. So,
fantastic.
Excited about this Rays game. I think I'm going to put up a poll today. You know, how confident are Rays fans out there right now?
I like it.
With this team, how far can they go? You know, Siri, Rayleigh coming back. Is that going to help your lineup? Do you put them in there? We kind of talked about this a little bit yesterday. We'll kind of expound upon it today. So good morning to you, JP.
Yeah, this is a big day for the Rays, and they got to get off to a good start, and that starts with Tyler Glass now. So we'll get in and preview the big Rays playoff series at the Trop today and tomorrow. I've seen a lot of stuff on Twitter, Peter. We had a call yesterday during our patio show about the ticket situation. A lot of Rays fans are pissed off. Shocking development. So we'll get into a little bit of that. What's going on? We got lots of Bucs to talk about. We'll hear from Dave Canales as he looks back on that terrific performance against a really, really good Saints defense as the Bucs put up 26 points. So we got Bucs. We'll hear from TJ Rives, Bucs sideline guy. Scott Reynolds from Pewter Report will be here for his usual Tuesday breakdown of the game and kind of look back at the Bucs for the first quarter of the season. So we got that for you. Lots of Rays. Got some really interesting stories to get into today. Billy Napier, Sunbelt Billy, went a little crazy yesterday at the press conference. It seems like the media has turned on Billy Napier.
Oh,
and it got a little testy yesterday. So we got some audio of that to get to you. Crazy story over here in, I'm living over near Orlando. Pop Warner football last night. 3 kids got into an argument. A kid went out to the parking lot, got a gun, and shot the other 2 kids. Effing Pop Warner. And they won't tell us how old the kids are yet because they're obviously juveniles, but Pop Warner goes from about 7 years old to 16. So, if it was really young kids, wow. Even, older 15, 16-year-olds, you kind of would understand that a little bit more,
right.
But it just doesn't matter. I mean, is this where we're at now? Crazy stuff. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that. There's a Trevor Bauer. If you haven't seen this on Twitter yet, we'll play a little bit of that audio later on in the show. So lots of Vasilevsky. We'll talk a little bit about Vasi in our first segment here. So lots to get to. Let's jump right into it. As I mentioned, it is Rays playoff day, and it'll be Tyler Glass now going up against Jordan Montgomery. And this is as big a game as Tyler Glass now has ever pitched in his career. Let's just put it out there what it is. In order for the Rays to go deep into this playoff series, he's going to have to win every game he pitches. Just about every single game he pitches, because the Rays really only go 3 deep in their rotation. And as much as we love what Eflin has done, he's not a dominant grade A ace in this league, which is what works in postseason, right? And certainly not Aaron Savali. This is not Shane McClanahan, followed by Tyler Glasnow, followed by Jeffrey Springs, followed by Drew Rasmussen, blah, 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 blah. This is not what the Rays are putting out there. So Glasnow has to answer the bell. Now, when you look at his postseason success, I'm not even sure I could say that, his postseason record, and these were some great numbers in John Romano's column today. Good read by John and putting it out there for him. His ERA since 2019 coming to the Rays is 11th overall at 3.03, top 11 ERA. His WHIP, walks and hits per innings pitched, is 5th at 1.013, 5th overall. That's elite. That's elite. His strikeout rate per 9 innings, 12.5. That is 2nd. Those are elite numbers. Those are as good as anybody's collectively as there is in baseball. And when you can pitch like that, you are expected to step up in the postseason. Now, I know he's only making like $5 million this year, but that's because he was coming off Tommy John surgery. Next year, he's slated to make $25 million. These are guys that are supposed to dominate in the postseason. And his postseason numbers in 10 starts are very unlike his regular numbers. 2-5 with a 5.75 ERA. Ouch, man. Ouch, man. That's not like not on your game. That's choking. You can't be so good in the regular season and that bad in the postseason. That's not meeting the moment. And nobody loves Tyler Glasnow more than me. I love this dude. I want to be Tyler Glasnow. Everybody wants to be Tyler Glasnow.
Yeah.
He's super smart. The Oppenheimer doppelganger. I mean, everybody wants to be Glasnow. There's no doubt about it. I love this guy. But if we're looking at him strictly objectively as a baseball player, it's time to step up. Now, last year against Cleveland, he went 5 innings of, I think, one run baseball in that game. No, actually, I don't think he could have any runs, 5 innings. And that was a game they lost 1-0 in 15 innings because the Rays couldn't score.
Right.
For 2 games, they scored 1 run, 24 innings. So that wasn't, he met the moment. He stepped up in that moment. So his last postseason outing against Cleveland, it wasn't a great offensive team. Let's just be honest about that. He was great. He was nails. We need that again today, but probably more 7 innings, at least 6. He's got to go 6 and hand it off to the elite level bullpen. And hopefully we'll have a lead by then and they can close things out. That's the formula. But Glasnow has got to be good. This is your moment, Tyler Glasnow. Step up. You're at home. Won't be any tipping of pitches, hopefully, like against the Astros a couple of years ago, although I'll go more with stealing of signs than I will of tipping of pitches.
No, the Astros are cheating? You don't say. The Astros, yeah.
Exactly.
Cheating.
Yeah, of tipping my pitches. Yeah, okay. Maybe there was a little bit, but when you're dealing with the Astros in that situation, I'm gonna.
Where are the garbage cans at? Are they banging on garbage cans today and everything like that? No.
So first and foremost, Tyler Glasnow has got to meet the moment, and hopefully he will. It'll be a packed trop today, hopefully. Now, we learned this last night that the pre-sale for tickets last week for season ticket holders and just regular customers of the Rays, because there's not that many season ticket holders, as we know, they were given the opportunity to buy outfield seats at like $60 a pop, right? 60, 75 with fees, whatever. So a lot of these guys went out and bought them, and ladies, and then they found out the game times, 3:00 every day, which is complete BS. I don't know why has Major League Baseball ever done that before? Gave the teams the afternoon games and all 3 wild card games. I don't know. I should have done my research on that, but that seems excessive.
It does
to do that to a team. Both teams really. I know the Rays and Rangers aren't big national polls in terms of ratings, but still, that just seems a little bit over the top to do that all 3 days, to put the fans in that situation. All right, people have jobs. At least give them one night game to go to. I mean, that's just BS. Right. So screw you, Major League Baseball, for that. And maybe that was, as we said yesterday, a little shot from the commissioner who's not very pleased with Stu Sternberg building in St. Petersburg. We know that. So maybe that was a sign, because the commissioner still hasn't, as far as I know, said anything, crickets, about this great plan that we have in St. Petersburg. But we're not talking stadium today. This is about the baseball. And I want to see a packed house. And $30 tickets for the upper deck is good. That's nice, right? That's good. We should be able to pack the house with that. But this being as it is, now you've got a bunch of season ticket holders or regular customers that are sitting there holding tickets they paid $60, $70 for when they're trying to dump them on the open market and here comes the team undercutting them at $30. So, it is what it is. It's a playoff game. If you can get in for $30, $40, $50, that's a steal, right? That's a steal. So, Rays fans, I know it's afternoon games. A lot of you guys are working. Like, imagine, like people, how this is part of the location problem. Even if you want to work in the morning or do it, get off early, so to speak, you're still going to have a hard time getting to the Trop if you don't live over in Pinellas County. You get off at 1, 2 o'clock. What are you going to do, right? So, it's just not convenient to the majority of the market, which is why it's a failed location. And so I hope that a lot of fans get out there. I know, Peter, you and TJ are planning on going. We got the Lightning here in Orlando tonight. So but I'm going to try to get over there on Thursday if there's a game, maybe Wednesday. So all of us should do our part and try to get to a game and fill it up and support this team that deserves to be supported. As much as I have to hold my nose when I grab my wallet to do it, and a lot of this money goes to Major League Baseball anyway, so it's not going directly into Stu's pocket. So I feel a little bit better about that.
You hope so. You hope it goes to Major League Baseball. But the last time I've been to a postseason game for the Tampa Bay Rays, and I hate to say this, but I remember it last night so well. 2008 of October, Evan Longoria's rookie year when he hit 20 home runs, and they won 97. Yeah, it's the last time I've been to a post game for the Rays. Postseason.
What year was that?
2008.
2008. Wow.
Yeah,
that was a long time ago.
For a postseason game, I've been to other Rays games before, but yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah,
so it's different. It's a different atmosphere.
As Bucs, Rays, and Bolts said, still got to pick up kids from school. Yeah, what if you got kids in school? They get out at 3 o'clock. How you get into the game?
Yeah.
It's tough. So let's hope that we fill it. I'm sure it'll be a big crowd. I don't know if it'll be topped off, but hopefully that'll be a good support because the Trop is tough to play in when that place is packed. I've been there for many, many postseason games, and it gets loud. It's intimidating. It's a little bit like the old Metrodome. The Metrodome was the worst baseball stadium in history, but the Twins had a huge home field advantage there. It was loud. They turned the fan on, when the Rays or when the Twins were hitting and turned it off or flipped it around. And so the wind was blowing against the other team, allegedly. I wish we had one of those big fans.
Right.
So, let's hope it's packed and we get the job done. Looks like Siri will be ready to go, but do you start him instead of Margot, who's been playing pretty well and hitting pretty well? Siri hasn't played in 3 weeks since breaking his hand. I know he looked good yesterday, felt good, but you haven't faced Major League pitching in 3 weeks. I don't know. I think I'd go with Margot in that situation. What do you think?
I mean, you go with Margot, you go with the hot hand, but then again, Siri adds power to the lineup. He also adds strikeouts, but is he as good or better than Margot in the defense and the center field part? Is he better in that facet of his game? I don't know. I think you go with the hot hand, but I also get and understand where the Rays are coming from and, adding that power to your lineup, which you haven't had in a while. So I don't know. Yeah. I hope it doesn't screw up the offense, but let's just put it out there. Knock on wood. They're going to score more runs than they did against the Guardians last year. I mean, let's put that out there, right? They're not going to go cold here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just, you look, both teams are really good offensively. The Rangers were plus 165 run differential. The Rays, I think, ended up plus 193.
Yeah.
Run 195 differential. So two of the best in the league. They've got Marcus Semien, Corey Seager, Adolis Garcia, Yandy, Randy, Josh Lowe, the whole group. So, this is going to be a pretty even matchup. Although the Rays are favored, I think, because they're at home. And the Rangers kind of limped in, losing 3 of the last 4. They were slated to get to win the West, but the Astros caught them. So I think they probably come in a little down. And that matters. Momentum matters, I think, in baseball. They say, momentum is next day starting pitcher. I get that. But when it comes to offense, I think it matters. And the Rays have been scoring runs. Texas was shut out the last day of the season, 1-0. So, advantage Rays. The Texas is plus 125 on the money line to win the series. The Rays are minus 150. That's a pretty prohibitive favorite as betting lines go. So here we go. Let's play some baseball.
Yeah, let's play some baseball. Let's see what this pitching staff can do. And the reason why you get Zach Eflin in the offseason in the first place and pay him, 3 years, $40 million is because of this moment. And even though he hasn't necessarily pitched well lately, giving you maybe 5 to 6 innings, we've seen the potential that he can go past 6 innings. If you can get, past 6 innings for Zach Eflin, if you can get that from Tyler Glasnow, Savali, the reason why you trade for him, same thing. You want to get quality starts. So if you can get quality starts out of that pitching staff, it makes your bullpen that much better because you could save those innings, going throughout the postseason, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. So it's a big start for both of these guys. And, and I'd like to see the Rays just sweep this. Let's get it done in 2. Save the bullpen, save the pitching staff, because the Orioles are going to be rested and waiting, and that matters. So here we go. Let's get it done. 2 quick ones and move on. You hate the fact that this is not a reseed situation. We talked about this. John Smoltz came on with us last week and talked about it. The Rays, I think they finished, 8 games ahead of the Astros?
Yeah.
The Astros are getting the bye, or the Twins. I mean, either one of them. It's ridiculous. You got to reseed. Everybody's playing a balanced schedule. Clearly, the Rays were the much better team. They earned the 2nd seed. They should be the ones getting the bye. Once again, Major League Baseball, clean up your business. Figure it out. This is not a hard one. You reseed.
Nope.
You reseed, especially with the balanced schedule now. Isn't it weird that every time, Major League Baseball comes up with a rule, it just seems to penalize the Rays, and then they pretty much figure out how to, take advantage of it. But it just, I don't know why, but it always seems like it penalizes the Rays. All right, let's move on to some other stuff here in our first segment. Andre Vasilevsky is going to miss 2 months. We talked a little bit about this yesterday. We're going to start seeing some of the experienced goalies go on waivers over the next couple of days. That'll start today, I believe. So I think there's an opportunity here for the Bolts to probably pick up an experienced guy. Both of the guys they got have looked good in the preseason. I get that, but it's still the preseason. And I think Brisebois, if he doesn't have to give up a lot of draft capital, doesn't have to pay a lot of money, can find somebody, they don't have to be exceptional, but I think they have to be experienced. If one of these teams gets a young, hot goalie that they feel like, well, let's go with the young guy. We don't want to send him down. We want to develop this guy. It's his time. And you might see a few guys that are pretty good goalies on the waiver wire and an opportunity for the Lightning to strike here. And I just feel like, even though Vasi's coming back in 2 months, is he going to be back to full speed in 2 months? Right? You still have a great window. You still have the best core in all of hockey. So, in my opinion, if I'm Brisebois, I'm trying to find some insurance here. I'm trying to find somebody like a Brian Elliott, like when Vasi went down a couple of years ago. They played really, really well with I'm trying to think of his name. It's brain fart again.
Yeah.
Where they went into I think it was middle of December, and Louis Domingue played really, really well. And the Lightning went out 12-3 without Vasilevsky. They led the Atlantic Division at 24-7-1 on their way to the President's Trophy, but of course lost to Columbus. But Domingue was great. And you just never know if one of these young players is going to be that guy, but I wouldn't take a chance. I got to get somebody with a little bit more solid resume to at least have there. And move one of these younger guys back to the minors. At least I got to believe that's the way Brisebois is thinking. I think it's too much of a chance to go into it with 2 guys with this much inexperience. This is my 2 cents.
Yeah, I just kind of wonder how much confidence you have in those 2 guys at the end of the day. And, the Lightning team in front of them, can they do enough to protect that goalie? Because, look, you have Vasilevsky, one of the best goalies in the league, right? You can play a little bit lax on defense. Even then, we saw, some of those chinks in the armor last year of Vasilevsky. So now, again, this may be a blessing in disguise where you're going to have to play in front of him. You're going to have to play a little bit tighter. You're going to have to tighten things up when Vasilevsky gets back. And, hopefully you could stay in the race. And I think this team can. They're talented enough. But, again, they're going to have to be a lot better in front of the goalie because now you don't have Vasilevsky that you could depend on.
Yeah, so I just, that would be my guess. It wouldn't shock me, but obviously we trust Brisebois. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he has in these young goalies. Yeah. So they know a lot. They have a lot more information than I do. So I trust them implicitly. They know what they're doing. They've proven that. He's proven that. So we'll see where it goes. But I think I wouldn't be shocked if they made that move. I would not be shocked if they made that move.
I got to read this comment here. Rangers in 3 says Tim. Not a little biased there, huh, Tim?
Who's Tim?
Oh, you know who I'm talking about. Tim from DSP.
That Timmy.
Yeah,
that's right. He's a Rangers fan.
Rangers, yeah.
Yeah, we should get Timmy on to do a little preview. Maybe we'll get him on. If you're available by 11:45, Timmy, jump on and tell us a little bit about the Rangers. This is another one from Donald Vesey. This is important too. Is that Siri Margot dropped 2 easy balls lately. Go with the defensive prowess. I agree. That's true. I think if I got Glass now on the mound, I want my best defense out there. Siri, defense doesn't get real rusty, right? When you're hitting a fastball, you got to get up to speed, especially if you got a broken hand. But defensively, be solid up the middle. That's why I would, even against a lefty today, I would start Taylor Walls at short. I would start Taylor Walls. We don't have the lineups yet, do we?
We don't. I'm actually going to look online right now because it's supposed to be announced here in this hour. So let me just take a look here really quick as I'm going over producing here while we're doing this show. I don't see anything at this point. Rosters are due at 10 and should be released shortly after. Well, that was 52 minutes ago, Mark, so I don't see anything at this point. So we'll just hold off on that for right now. And once there is something, unless I need to go ahead and refresh. Let's see here. Nope, still nothing.
Nothing yet? Okay.
Nothing yet. So we'll keep you abreast of that situation. And once it becomes available, then we'll go ahead and dissect it and see where the Rays are at this point. So.
All right, a couple other things we want to get to. Yesterday, we actually played a little bit of the Billy Napier press conference last night in our patio show. Thanks for everybody coming out to the patio last night. Had a good time out there. We both got birthday cards, so thanks to our great listeners out there. We won't throw you under the bus. So.
No, we won't, and it definitely comes in handy because any extra money, goes to gas or maybe flat tires. Unexpected.
Oh my God!
Gosh.
Everything turned out okay there, partner?
Everything's good. Everything is good.
Come to the rescue?
Yeah, well, sort of. I actually had to do it myself. I had to drive it home. Air it up, drive it home, get it taken care of because AAA was trying to charge me an arm and a leg. Did you know that they're trying to charge you over $200 to just tow it to Seminole? I mean, I get it. It's a little ways from Tampa, but it's not.
They only give you like what, a free 5 miles or 10 miles or something like that. After that, you get charged. Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate you, State Farm. Yeah.
That's the little caveat to the free AAA roadside service. You only get 10 miles. So,
complete garbage.
But you were able to air it up and get home, though.
Yeah, I got home. It took me a couple hours because I was waiting for them. It took was like an hour and a half for them to get out there. And then finally go, well, Mr. Blake, we're going to call you back here. We actually undercharged you. We're going to charge you more. I was like, you know what? Give me a refund. I'm airing it up. I'm going home. Get out of here. So, so my night was filled with waiting for people to do their job. They should have wrote it down, like you would say.
That's right. Write it down. Write it down. What are you charging me?
Yeah, 159, and then over that 200. I'm like, nah. Go ahead. You can. I'm good.
So you had to change the tire yourself.
No, I just aired it. I just aired it up. I aired up the tire. It was flat, a little bit flat. Aired it up. Drove home. Took me about 35, 45 minutes to get home. Got home. Got all set up again and went to bed.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
Yeah,
that works.
Do it
That's a hell of
yourself.
a lot. Yeah, hell yeah, do it. Can you change a tire? Because I could change a tire.
I can change the tire. Yeah.
There's a lot of people in this world that don't even know how to change a tire.
No.
Like I had to change her girlfriend's tire the other day, and she's like, "Do you know how to change a tire?" I'm like, "That's insulting. That's insulting. Don't look. How you're actually asking me if I know how to change an effing tire? Of course I know how to change a freaking tire. I'm not some millennial. And we're like, oh, is that a jack? How does that work?
Well, look at this.
How do you take those things off the tire? What is that? It's called a lug nut, you lug nut.
All right, here's Tim here. You could spring for $30 a year, AAA membership, and get 200 free miles per tow. There you go.
Well, there you go.
Learning
and now you know.
I didn't know. I thought my insurance would cover it. So thank you very much, Tim, on it as always here on the JP Peterson Show. Yeah. I'm not going to spend ridiculous amounts of money. I could do that in other places, like Rives.
I didn't know that $30 a year and you get the 200 miles free. I did not know that.
Wow,
I did not know that.
Very good. Very good impression.
Tim coming in with some critical information here.
Yeah.
All right. So as I mentioned, Billy Napier got a little testy in the press conference last night. After the opening of the press conference, he's talking about gator growl. You want to piss off your fans? You want to piss off your fans after getting boat raced by Kentucky? Start talking about gator growl. And then the media kind of turned on him. So let's play a little bit of this from Billy Napier's press conference yesterday.
100%.
All right, we're going to finish with that here, and then Zach.
PR guys like, yeah, we're getting done here.
Oh.
Another game you've had struggled. How much of that is technique, or how much of it is just lack of physicality? And I mean, is there a worry that maybe you don't have the dominant power up front?
Yeah, I think a lot of things contribute to it. I think, I always think about every play relative to communication is where we start. And then you get into fundamentals and techniques, decision making. I don't necessarily think we lack physicality. Nobody asked that after we played Tennessee. But I do think that Kentucky plays really good rush defense. They have some unique front players. And I think it wasn't the best day for our group. And that was probably magnified when you compare it with the fact they've got some really good front players. So some of it may be design, right? I think a lot of things contribute. And the quarterback has decisions to make. The tight ends are involved. The footwork and eye discipline of the running back. How we block support, right? I've said this many times up here. When you rush the ball, every position group contributes, right? We always want to point the finger at one group or one player, but that's not always the case. So no different than playing good run defense. Got to play really good at all three levels, right? So every position group contributes to the unit, and when you
he's
play
good
rush
so far.
defense,
I think he starts to lose it here just a little bit.
At every level. Same thing when it comes to rush.
Starting to boil.
Some of this stuff's cumulative, though, back to my original question.
Uh-oh.
Oh, here we go.
It's not just the Kentucky game. And Tennessee was a great performance, but there's some cumulative performances that maybe were somewhat similar to Kentucky. I mean, Vanderbilt was coming in here, and you guys had a struggle there.
This is 2023.
Yeah. Give it to him. There's the emotion.
Process there, because I didn't follow the, year to year there. Are you seeing similarities with what's going on in terms of the rebuild, the struggle early? Are you seeing signs that you saw there that maybe were on?
It's a good question. It's a good question.
Yeah, no, I've got a ton of confidence in what we do and how we do it. We didn't play well Saturday, but that doesn't change my belief in what we do and how we do it. Now, reality is you got to always have the ability to adapt, and we've adapted in the past, I think everything's always
a Marine.
You're always evaluating and trying to put your team. Each team's a little bit different, right? There's strengths and weaknesses of each team, right? So I think that's part of coaching, is evolving based off the personnel you have, the strengths and weaknesses. What skill players do you have that year? What type of quarterback do you have? So I think we've done that in the past. We'll continue to do that. It's good. It's a really good question, though.
All right, we'll finish with Zach.
Who do you want to see step up
Yeah, no, Andy's opportunities will, his opportunities have been increasing because he's been preparing better, showing a better grasp, practicing better, more efficient, more productive, been performing in practice. We've been playing him here the last couple weeks as a result of that. So obviously his role will grow. We get Burke back. Burke was banged up last week. I think that could help. But Andy's role would definitely grow here. It was good to see him be able to execute, and to get some experience. And I think that's going to help his confidence. You can just see it. He got a chance to play in the Charlotte game, experience some success. Sometimes a young, talented player, when they experience some success, that kind of fuels the fire, and then they show up to practice a little bit different, right? We got a number of players that are like that. Andy's a good example.
There's Billy Napier yesterday. So I don't think it was too testy.
Yeah.
But definitely there were some questions about the physicality. And, this is exactly what Mike Norvell went through in year 2 after they lost to Jacksonville State. The media is going to come and question you. And rightfully so. And you got to handle it with positivity. I wouldn't get combative. And not that he did. I didn't think it was that bad, but I think maybe people made it out to be worse than it was. But he's going to get a lot of this, and this is why rebuilds are tough. And I don't think, there's a lot of chatter out there with the fan base. I don't think it's warranted. Again, you want to keep switching coaches every 2-3 years. That's the way to stay mediocre. You got to give this guy a chance. He's recruiting well. These rebuilds are tough when you're a proud program like the University of Florida. You've won national championships. The expectations are high, and especially when your chief rival, Georgia, is winning 2 back-to-back national championships. It sucks. This is not fun for the fan base. But you got to stick through it. You got to stick by your guy until he shows that he's a complete numbskull like Willie Taggart.
Well, I got to see more.
I don't see. People are looking at his record and saying the same thing about Willie. Is he another Willie T? No, I don't see that in Billy Napier. Willie Taggart didn't have a number 2, 3 ranked recruiting class coming in. So, and I see, they beat Tennessee. They're fighting hard. Kentucky was an outlier in my opinion. And Kentucky's a good football team, by the way. They're 5-0. They're 2-0 in the SEC. You went on the road in the SEC and you got your butt beat. And when you're in a rebuild, that's going to happen. So if you're a Gator fan, I would just say calm down. And if I'm Billy Napier, I'm like, don't take the bait, bro. They're going to start baiting you. Don't take the bait. Just stay cool, stay calm. Don't get, don't start that flipping the media against you. You don't need that. That's not going to help you. Just ask Coach Bowden. Make the media your best friend. You'll be all right.
You just kind of wonder when it's going to come to a point where he does turn on the media and he starts.
You better not.
And shows some emotion. And I tell you right now, we watched the beginning of that press conference, and it was like sleepwalking. It was like,
it was bad. It was bad. Don't start talking about Gator growl. And I get it, everybody, but nobody wants to hear that when you get your ass kicked like that. So I would caution against that. Caution against that. All right, let's talk some Buccaneers with our good friend Scott Reynolds from the Pewter Report, who joins us here after a victorious weekend in New Orleans. I know you didn't go. You're too smart for that.
Yeah.
But you sent some of your minions to pick up some wild diseases and whatever you get when you go to New Orleans these days. But what a performance by the Buccaneers. That's as dominant a road win in division as you'll see. I think it was statistically their 5th best ever.
Yeah.
So that was pretty damn good.
Yeah, it really was. The offense certainly came to life, right? We saw a semblance of a running game kind of manufactured. You had the 11-yard end around by Devin Tompkins. Nice. Baker scrambled for over 30 yards. So 114 yards. They prove they can run the ball a little bit. I think it's a work in progress there. But the thing that really stood out to me, guys, was Todd Bowles' continued mastery over the Saints. Remember, this is a Saints team that over the span of a couple of coaches won 7 straight regular season games against the Buccaneers, even sweeping Tampa in 2021. And even though the Bucs won the NFC South, they got swept by the Saints that year.
Yeah.
So Todd Bowles has now won 3 straight games over New Orleans. If you go back to 2021, in what was like the bloodbath game, right? The game where you lost Chris Godwin out for the year with the torn ACL. Mike Evans got taken out. Leonard Fournette got taken out. It was basically Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski trying to beat the Saints by themselves. The Bucs lost that game at Raymond James Stadium towards the end of the 2021 season, 9-0. But the important number there is 9. Todd Bowles held this once potent New Orleans offense to 9 points that game. And that was kind of the catalyst for last year sweeping the Saints, beating them 20-10 in week 2 in New Orleans. Again, the key number there is 10.
10, yep.
Then coming back to beat the Saints at Ray J last year and winning 17-16 with that last-second touchdown pass to Rachaad White from Tom Brady. But again, the key number is 16. Then you go into New Orleans this year and wax them in week 4, 26-9. So the last 4 games against this Todd Bowles defense, the Saints have scored 9 points, 10 points, 16 points, and 9 points. That is mastery.
Yes, it
the
is.
The Saints used to be the bully on the block, and now Todd Bowles is the bully in the NFC South.
Oh, great open there from Scott Reynolds with the
Love
numbers
it.
there.
Coming
Fantastic.
strong to the mic. Yeah.
That is a come out roll of epic proportions right there.
Appreciate it.
You know, Bowles talked about situational football yesterday, and I think he nailed it there. And I think if there's one thing I can look at through the first 4 weeks, that's what this team is doing so well. They are playing great situational football. They're make big third down plays. Baker, I think, ran 3 times for first downs on third downs. Also made 2 touchdown throws on third down with scrambles. So situationally, he knows the moment. He knows when he needs to extend. He knows what he needs to get it done, and that has been phenomenal. Defensively, have we seen a better game than Antoine Winfield played on Sunday overall? I mean, the numbers itself say nobody's done that since 2018 and Bobby Wagner. For my eyes alone, that dude dominated that game on literally every level. Tackles for loss, sacks, cause fumble, saves a touchdown, deep down the field at the other end. I mean, literally at every level. What a phenomenal situational guy this is. He just knows football. What a performance.
He's a one-man gang. Antoine Winfield Jr. is a one-man gang. And the crazy thing is this guy has 2 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, right? 2 fumble recoveries this year. He doesn't even have an interception. Like, he may not even make the Pro Bowl, which is the stupidest, popularity contest there is, because you've got all these fans and people voting. They're like, oh, let's see how many interceptions he had. Oh, he had got none. He didn't get any votes, right? It's so stupid, right? It's like, oh, you're a linebacker, right? Like Justin Houston kept, Derek Brooks and not Derek Brooks, Levante David out of not just Justin Houston, but if you have sacks and you're a linebacker, you make the Pro Bowl, right? And that's why Levante David didn't make the Pro Bowl, because he
have 175 tackles. Nobody cares.
Yeah, he's one of the best coverage linebackers. You'd have like 3 interceptions, right, including a pick 6, but no Pro Bowl for you.
Nope.
But with Winfield, he's done it all. Go back to that Minnesota Vikings game, right? There's a reason why Todd Bowles has him back at free safety this year, because when he plays cover 1 or cover 3, he's that single high safety. He's the best tackler on the team by far. He is a sure tackler. Unless he's getting hurdled, then he misses a tackle there. But we'll give him a break with the DeAndre Swift hurdle. But go back to that Minnesota game. Yeah, he had a sack, forced fumble recovery, the splash plays. He saved 2 touchdowns by making that last-ditch tackle on Justin Jefferson twice in the first half, right? Just like that Chris Olave play. That's a highlight reel play. That's not going to show up on the highlights because it wasn't in the big box, which is sacks, forced fumbles, takeaways, interceptions.
Or touchdowns.
It was a pass breakup, but it was a pass breakup that was perfectly timed, didn't draw a penalty, daring, diving, pass breakup, flawless technique. It saved the touchdown. That could have been a momentum-changing play for the Saints in the second half, and instead it was a deflating play because Winfield was just so amazing.
Scott, how would you – I'm sorry. Go ahead, JP.
I was going to mention the punch out at the 5-yard line after the Bucs throw the interception. Terrible. Probably Baker's worst throw. But he punches it out, and then they get to 7. That's that's 14 points right there to be accounted for in a 26-9 game. I mean, that's the game.
It is. And he's not Rondé Barber, but the one thing these two guys have is a knack for making big plays, right?
Yep.
The ball finds them, and they're around the ball because of great preparation, right?
Mm-hmm.
High football IQ, and then the physical attributes to get the job done, whether it's finding that extra gear and diving with the correct hand, right, to deflect that pass in the end zone, or just having the awareness of, hey, this is a fullback dive. They're trying to dive out of here. This is not going to be going for a touchdown, right? So I'm here in the middle of the pile in the trash, but I see the ball and I'm going to punch it out, right?
Yeah.
Scott, how would you assess Dave Canales and his play calling? Because much was made about play calling on first down. Did you see a little bit of a change this week? And
okay, he mixed in a lot of new stuff, right? Like the end around the DT, the receiver pass to Chris Godwin. He even lined up Luke Gedeke at tight end next to Tristan Wirfs on a formation that basically had. You had center Robert Hainsey, you had right guard Cody Mauch, then you had tight end Kokeeft playing right tackle, then you had Cade Otton, right? And then you basically took the right tackle, Luke Gedeke, and stick him on what was the strong side, right next to Tristan Wirfs. So you got Gedeke, Wirfs, and Filer all in a row on that side. And the Saints said, whoa, we're not ready for this timeout, right? So just a formation alone caused the Saints to burn a timeout. And so we're seeing Dave Canales really be open-minded, really digging into the playbook a little bit. And it's kind of frustrating because, you're not going to get better at the bread and butter plays unless you run the bread and butter plays.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he sensed that against the Eagles, I ran the bread and butter plays a little too much, right?
Yep. And
so it's going to be a work in progress. You have to do those kind of somewhat predictable plays, right? Whether it's a quick out on the pass or a run up the middle, you have to do those things enough to get good at them to where when you want or need to run those plays, you can do it efficiently and effectively. So he's not being beholden to those, though. Yeah. He's saying, okay, we got to do these plays, but what else can we do? How else can we manufacture first downs, right? And so I just think that we're just scratching the surface. This is 4 games into this guy. Dave Canales is a bright guy. He's a smart guy. He's going to figure his own tendencies out. He's going to figure out how to use the weapons best. He's going to figure out how everyone fits in this offense. Mm-hmm. He's going to figure it out. But I think when you're 3-1 with a guy who's learning on the job, it's a pretty good thing. I'll say this last thing about Canales. Any coach at any level, Pop Warner like I was for years, high school, college, pro, you have to have 3 attributes to be a really good coach. Number 1, you have to know the X's and O's, right? You have to have a winnable scheme offensively or defensively. In other words, you have to have the right plays. So you have to have the playbook. That's important. Number 2, player development. Your job as a coach is to make your players better from one game to the next, better from the start of the season to the end. Are your players growing and developing under your watch? And then the third thing, which this is kind of like an intrinsic thing. Coaches either have it or they don't. Believability, right? It's one thing to know the game of football. It's another thing to teach your players the right thing. Do they believe in you? Belief wins a lot of games. Football is a game of emotion, of momentum. And I know that the analytics nerd don't like to hear that because those aren't measurable. You can't measure momentum, right? You can't, stick that in your computer or look at it on a stopwatch and measure momentum. You can't measure emotion, right? Mike Allstott had some of the best 2-yard runs that would get you out of your seat at Raymond James Stadium, right? 2 yards on the stat sheet doesn't look like anything, but if it's a key 3rd and 1 that's going to ice the game and you get 2 yards, it's a hell of a run. Dave Canales is believable. He made us believe with his press conferences and the media. I can only imagine what he says behind closed doors in the team meetings. Probably ramps it up for the players even more. They believe in this guy. Yeah. And that's important.
And the accountability is there as well, because you look at one of the trademarks of this team is becoming their long offensive drives, right?
Yeah.
87 yards, in the second quarter, 17 plays, 9 minutes off the clock. Every one of their wins, they've had one of these 9-minute drives.
Yeah.
And it does so much for your team. Your defense is getting rested.
Yes.
I mean, it's just, you put points on the board.
Yeah.
I mean, it's huge, especially when you're on the road, Right. And what you can't have in a 17-play drive are penalties, mistakes, missed blocks, so their execution level, and this goes to what you were talking about, is not only do you have to call good plays, but you got to execute them. And that comes in practice and and grinding on the details. And this coaching staff offensively is so much better with the details. It matters. And you can tell that in practice, when they screw up and things, they don't make mistakes twice, because you don't get execution level like this in a game if you're not doing it in practice. So that's something
exactly
else I think that is much different than last year. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would agree. And sometimes you just get a vibe from people. And I think Byron Leftwich, and I'm not going to say he was a bad coach. He has a Super Bowl ring that I don't have, right? And I mean, he's called plays in the NFL that I've only covered and never even came close to playing. Exactly. Yeah. But that's the thing. He also had the most talented team in the league for a couple of years. And then you take away Gronkowski and AB and you leave Tom with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. And all of a sudden, as a defensive minded guy, I'm like, oh, okay, I can take away 2 guys.
Yeah.
I can't take away 3 or 4. Right. And that's where the problems were last year. And I just think that Byron, he gave you some insight into who he was in those press conferences. And I think they were kind of telling, and I think they were damning. I don't think he truly grasped analytics. When he didn't understand something, he would laugh it off and make fun of the media and say, that's fantasy football.
That's fantasy football, right?
No logic, right? And it's like the level of detail with which the answers to media questions. I mean, I asked Dave Canales yesterday, how can you improve as a play caller? I think he went on for 3 minutes about how he can improve as a play caller, and he admitted where he struggled so far and where he needs to gain
he does
and grow.
that a lot, which I think is very, that's very telling about someone who is candid enough to admit their mistakes and tell you, that's, you're secure in yourself when you know. I can admit this to you guys that I screwed this up from the very beginning. He was like, I pushed the wrong button. Yeah. Most coaches won't tell you that because they don't want to get ridiculed, but he's secure enough to do that.
If he's giving us, the media, the level of detail and answers, what do you think when Devin Tompkins raises his hand in a meeting and say, I don't understand the concept on this in terms of the spacing with the X, right?
Yeah.
Imagine that answer that you're going to get from Dave Canales, right?
Yeah. And
it matters. Details matter. And you're exactly right, JP. He is one of the most detailed coaches I've ever covered. He's only going to get better.
Yeah.
Scott, talk about Mike Evans. 3 catches, 40 yards when he's in the game, but of course he goes out with a hamstring. I mean, again, we kind of talked about this, just a couple months ago, a couple weeks ago with the contract dispute. This is the reason why you're not necessarily going to rush and pay him, right? Because of the hamstring issues.
Yeah. I mean, it's a tweak. Injuries are going to happen. I think Mike knows how to take care of his body. I don't blame injuries on players per se, unless they have, a reputation for missing their training, unless they're lazy. And I can't think of any players in this locker room that are lazy, that don't do the proper stretching and training, et cetera. In years past, there have been plenty, right? On lesser Buccaneer teams where they don't put football first.
Right.
But I like this roster. Mike Evans, I think the big takeaway for me was he was on his way to schooling Marshawn Lattimore. He was having a day, right? And 3 catches, 40 yards. I loved how the first play went to Mike to get him involved. And I think sometimes in the Saints games in years past, and of course, this is Byron Leftwich's fault and problem too, is Mike did not get enough targets early to get him involved. And he has to hear the chirping all the time from Marshawn Lattimore. Like, they're not throwing you today, Mike. Like, I got you locked down, dude. Like, Tom's not even looking your way. Right. It's the first quarter, dude. No targets for you, and that gets to Mike.
Yeah.
And so the first thing that the Canales does, and maybe Todd Bowles pointed out because he's seen this behavior, is give Mike the ball. First play, boom, 18 yards to Mike.
18 yards, first down.
Brilliant. So he gets hurt, and then guess what? Mike Evans has been and is the Bucs offense. We saw it in training camp. You guys were there. Mike Evans was dominating on a daily basis in training camp. I don't know if it was because he's in a contract year, because he was on the verge of hitting 30 and was like, holy crap, I'm closer to the end of my career than I am the beginning, or just because he loves this new offense and it's a breath of fresh air with Dave Canales. I don't know why Mike decided to dominate in August, but he did. So we saw this start coming. 3 touchdowns, 3 games, 297 yards in the first 3 games. He was the offense. And Canales even said, this offense goes through Mike Evans first, then Chris Godwin, and then we'll see whoever else, right? Yeah. The great thing is they figured out, and I think the coaches knew this, but Devin Tompkins knows they can win without Mike now. Trey Palmer knows they can win without Mike now. Chris Godwin said, oh, Mike's not here. I'm going to put the Superman cape on. 100 yards, 42-yard catch and run, looking like Chris Godwin pre-ACL injury, right?
Yes.
That's important for this young team. It's important for Baker Mayfield to know, hey, I got some dudes.
Yeah.
Right? Big Mike, who scored 3 out of 4 of the touchdowns that I threw to in the first 3 games in here. I'm going to throw to Kate Otten. I'm going to throw to DT. I'm going to throw to Trey Palmer, and I'm going to win.
Yeah. And let's talk about Baker. Man, what a football game he played. When you go back and look at the tape, it's even better than what you saw with your naked eye, because he made so many critical plays on third down with his feet.
Yeah.
He made all the right choices. It was a good choice to throw to Godwin on single coverage. He just threw a bad ball.
Yep.
He had one turnover-worthy play that should have been a pick in the middle of the field, but got away with it.
Yeah.
So, but everything else he did was freaking flawless, and not the least of which is taking a cheap shot and getting right back up and telling those guys, we'll be back.
Right.
That's the New Orleans over there. Look, damn, we just gave that guy our best shot, and he's up throwing touchdown passes and coming back at us. He has taken this team and this town by storm, and I'm here for it. And that guy is, the numbers say he's playing some of the best football. His EPA numbers, I think, number 6 in the league right now. And I think he's playing even better than that. Your thoughts on Bake?
Yeah, it kind of reminds me like a little bit of like Luke Skywalker and Han Solo, right? It's like Luke Skywalker's the Jedi, he's the hero. It's already in the script, But honestly, if it wasn't for Han Solo coming in, right, in the original Star Wars Episode 4, right, where all of a sudden Luke's in trouble, he's got Darth Vader right on his tail and another TIE fighter, and all of a sudden you thought Han Solo had ditched the rebellion. Here he comes to save Luke's ass, right?
That's right. And that
Han
crappy
Solo,
Millennium Falcon, it may not look like Tom Brady, but that thing sure works.
Yeah, he's the cool, he's the hero with the swagger, right? He's kind of the bad boy, but he's got the swagger. And damn it, you want Han Solo on your team, right? I know Luke's got the sword and the Jedi and all that stuff, great. But I mean, we're there for Han Solo, right? Baker Mayfield is Han Solo. I mean, he is.
Job done.
He's cool, gets the job done, coming in clutch, right? You may like him, you may not like him, but you're going to root for him. He's got it, man. For this offense, for this team right now, he is it, and he's exactly what they need. And the best thing I like about Baker is he's grown, he's matured, not just attitude-wise and from a humbleness. He's grown from a football IQ standpoint. Those interceptions, I mean, he's thrown more interceptions since entering the league than anybody, right? 66 now, I think. Okay, fine, whatever. Only 2 of those are in Tampa. Yeah. He left all the bad plays in Cleveland, right? Like the mistakes, they were on the Browns' dime.
Yeah.
He has evolved into a player, and this is why for this franchise, I don't know why, right? Vinny Testaverde, Trent Dilfer, Josh Freeman, Sean King, Chris Sims, Bruce Gradkowski. Who am I forgetting that they've drafted that hasn't panned out, right? That hasn't gotten a second contract.
Yeah, I think you got most of them right there.
I'm just saying, if you want to win in Tampa.
Winston.
Yeah, Jameis Winston, exactly.
1 pass, 1 interception.
Exactly. There's Jameis 101 right there, right?
Right.
Here's the thing. Brad Johnson, Brian Greasy, Jeff Garcia, Tom Brady. If you want to win in Tampa, you need a veteran free agent quarterback.
That's right.
Because they're the only ones that have done it. They're the only ones that have won division titles or won Super Bowls. And now they've got a guy in Baker Mayfield. And as much as I liked Kyle Trask and I thought he had a great preseason and helped Baker, I thought Baker's best play was understanding. It was like in the third quarter, I want to say, when the pass rush was coming up and they were dropping 7 in coverage, and he just dropped back, and I think it was a design quarterback draw, or he saw it early and just said, I'm going early, and took off and got 10 yards and got a first down.
Yeah, he saw the man coverage underneath, and he knew he'd had a hole there, and that's savvy.
That's Baker. That's a play Kyle Trask can't make, right?
Agreed.
Kyle Trask can't make I'm going to scramble around and I'm going to, get hit and I'm going to toss the ball to Cade Otton for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to roll around and I'm going to extend the play and I'm not going to panic and I'm going to find DT for the diving touchdown.
That's right.
So many plays, and this is not Kyle Trask slander. Kyle Trask just isn't there yet, right? Some of those plays that Baker Mayfield made on those 3 instances I just talked about would have been interceptions or sack fumbles in Cleveland for the rookie Baker Mayfield or the second-year Baker Mayfield or the third-year Baker Mayfield. But he's gotten some of that learning out of his system.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bucs are getting the best version of Baker Mayfield now.
Yeah, it's been tremendous. All right, so they got the weekend off, and you look back at this first quarter. Hard to argue with 3-1. I thought they might get the 3-1, and 2-2 was my pick, but 3-1 is phenomenal.
Yeah.
They've got the division wins. This, to me, I look back on this team. It's kind of what I expected.
Mm-hmm.
They're not a top level team,
right?
But they're in that second tier that can be, you can win the division, you can get a home playoff game, and you know what? If Brock Purdy goes down, if Jalen Hurts goes down, who the hell knows what happens, right? Let's not forget, Madden 24 has the Bucs in the Super Bowl. So far, it looks like a good pick.
Right. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, this is a big game, right? I'll tell you right now, Buccaneer fans, and I wrote about this after the Eagles lost, readjust your expectations for this team. This team will lose to the Buffalo Bills on Thursday night.
That's right.
This team will lose to the 49ers in San Francisco later in the year. I think everybody else, they can make a game of it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Win the winnable games. Sweep the Panthers, right? Beat the Titans, right? I think the Titans are beatable. I think the Jags are probably beatable, right? So it's like you've got some instances where win the winnable games. Don't stub your toe like you did last year in Carolina. You had no business losing to that team,
Pittsburgh,
with the 4th string quarterback, the Pittsburgh game, etc. Those are the games that you need to win, and make sure that you don't lose those. Then the Saints, the Lions, maybe the Packers, right? Those tough games, you need to win more than you lose. Mm-hmm. That's the formula for getting into the playoffs is 9-10 wins, win the winnable games, be competitive in the other ones, and then, take your lumps and don't get too down when you go up against elite teams that you just don't have the roster for yet.
Right.
And like you said, get to the dance, man. Anything can happen. Go back to 2007. The Buccaneers had the New York Giants come into town. They got up 7-0 on the Giants. They ended up losing to the Giants, got blown out. And then the Giants ended up winning 3 straight games on the road and winning the Super Bowl that year, beating Tom Brady and the Patriots. So you never know. You just got to get there. And I think that this Lions game, the Lions are not as good as the Eagles, but they're better than the Saints. So this will be a really good measuring stick for the Bucs.
Yeah, and you'll get Kalijah Cansey back.
Yeah.
So that could be good. All right, tell everybody how they can get the great content at the Pewter Report.
At Pewter Report on X, Facebook, and Instagram. You can also visit us on pewterreport.com for all the great news. And then for our podcast, which happen Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, plus our postgame and pregame podcast, you can find that on Pewter Report TV. That's our YouTube channel.
Yeah, rough. All right, partner. Appreciate it. Always great stuff. Scotty, we will chat with you next week.
Sounds good. Have a great week, guys. Thank you.
Now the doggies
dogs
are barking, baby.
Tally's up in arms because Tally knows that the post.
No, that wasn't Tally. That was Scott's dog.
Oh,
Astro.
was it?
That was Astro.
I thought it was Tally. I was blaming. Okay, Astro.
Tally's slumbering over here.
Do you want to take a break really quick, or do you want to go out to this postseason?
No, we got to hit a break. We've gone 54 minutes uninterrupted here, so we got to get our great sponsors in. The Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com, Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Had Chris Lugo on yesterday with some great information for you guys. The great folks at Italiano Insurance. Now is always a great time to shop your insurance around, especially your homeowner's insurance, right? You could save some money. They saved me $1,000 on my auto insurance, so let them shop it around. The Golden Diamond Source, bring in that those old coins, that old jewelry. They will give you some cash. And, of course, if you're looking for that ring, you got to go to the Golden Diamond Source. And Extravaganza Productions for all your business and charity functions. They will run your event like a pro. And American Mortgage Services, and, of course, the folks at the patio. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Back in 3 with the playoff, Rasta and TJ Rives. JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. It will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
So you're experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had. It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. So do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability, not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves. Call for a free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local, we're trusted. The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you. The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled team with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by our great folks at the patio. If you missed yesterday, you missed a good time. Come on out, 5 to 7 each and every Monday night for a Monday night watch party. Watch the Giants get their ass kicked last night.
11 sacks by Seattle's defense. Thanks a lot for showing up, Giants offensive line.
The 88% rule did not come into effect if you had the Giants on the money line.
No.
That did not happen. All right, so we have the rosters out for the playoffs, Rays and Rangers. No Luke Raley, no Taj Bradley. None of that is shocking. And no Kevin Kelly, which is a little bit surprising.
There you go. And it was 15 players, 11 pitchers. Armstrong, Savali, Davinsky, Diekman, Eflin, Fairbanks, Glasnow, of course, Kittredge, Littell, Colin Poche, and Robert Stevenson. Catchers, Benton Court and Renee Pinto, who's definitely found a place on this team.
Yeah.
Aranda, Basabe, Caminero, Yandy Diaz, Curtis Mead, Isaiah Paredes, Taylor
Paredes.
Paredes. Did I say it wrong?
Itzhak Paredes.
Killing me here.
We're
Randy
here for
Rosarena, Josh Lowe, Manuel Margot, Harold Ramirez, Jose Siri, and Ramel Tapia.
Tapia.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Let's play some baseball. Let's bring in our good friend, Bucs sideline guy, TJ Rives, who will be accompanying you to the Trop today.
Yes.
These gentlemen will be rooting on our Tampa Bay Rays. Go Rays. I don't know if it's going to be a packed house, but it should be rocking, right?
Hey, we are there to represent. Good to
Yes.
be with you. I came on your show a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about the stadium announcement. And what did I say? I buy tickets. I'm even going to be buying postseason tickets. Happy birthday, Peter Blake. Have you been to a postseason Rays game, or is this a rookie experience?
The last time I was there was 2008, Evan Longoria's rookie year. I'm not even joking. Yes.
Well, all right. We're going to get you back there today. What I'm hoping, JP, is I don't have PTSD because I've done this thing before with the Rangers. And I was at game 1, 2010, afternoon game where Cliff Lee of the Rangers put the Rays bats to sleep. David Price gave up a few runs, got beat.
Was
Then
that the JP Howell game?
I don't know. All I remember is they lost the first 2. They went to Texas and then won the next 2 to stay alive. And then I got back from a Buccaneer game in Cincinnati. I remember where we were. We won the game in the last seconds in Cincinnati with the Bucs. It was a Monday game 5, I think an afternoon game again. I may be wrong, maybe a night game. I bought tickets again, and they lost to the Rangers, for God's sake, in game 5 in 2010. So, Peter, you got to help me if I start having the tics and the shakes when we walk into the Trop.
So you haven't seen a playoff win?
Well, no, I've seen playoff wins since then because I was there. When did they play the Red Sox? The year the Red Sox won the whole thing. And Lobaton, the catcher, won the game with a home run in the postseason. I was there for that one. I was there, brother, let me tell you this story. I was there for the DS series with the Astros, which is 2019 before the shutdown or 2018, whatever year that was.
Kiermaier to Adames.
Okay, well, Kiermaier's home run. Yeah. I still say this because we've been in that building a bunch, you and I, covering things, Lightning playoff games. I go back to Tampa Bay Storm Arena football games in the early 90s in that building when the place would shake, when Jay Gruden, brother of John Gruden, would throw touchdowns, and there were 25,000 people in there, and it would shake because there was like $3 tickets in the 300 level and $1 beer, and it was mayhem in the 300 level. So the place would shake. But you remember those Lightning playoff games?
26,000 people.
Oh my God! When they would, when they won the playoff game with Philadelphia, with the late Alex Selivanov scoring the overtime goal, that's the loudest I've ever heard that building. I mean, it was bonkers for 5 minutes and so loud your ears were still ringing on Wednesday.
Until
I think the next loudest was the Kiermaier home run when they were trailing in the game, that afternoon game. That was game 1 against Houston, and against Verlander, I think he hit it off of.
Yeah.
I'm down the right field line towards the foul pole with the tickets that I bought. And when that ball cleared the right field fence towards the tank, the roof almost came off the place. It
exploded. Yeah.
So I have been in there. My point is, I've been in there for some good experiences. I just need my man Peter Blake to help me here if I start having PTSD because it's the Rangers and it's game 1 and it's in the afternoon. That's all I'm saying on that one.
Just relax. Or go Aaron Rodgers. Just relax. It's going to be all right. This Rays team will be different. The pitching will be different. Glasnow is going to pitch lights out.
Let's hope so.
It's going to happen.
And clarify for me, because again, I'm in many worlds. That roster you read is only for this wild card series, and then they can change it up should they advance for this weekend.
Luke Rayleigh gets healthy.
Okay.
Yeah, they want to use some different pitching matchups.
And am I correct that they can do some switch offs once they get to the divisional series? They can do some switch offs, some guys that weren't on the roster. Or am I wrong about that?
No, every round you can change the roster.
But I mean, like in the series, are they allowed to do that, or is it set for the entire series? Here's your guys, and that's it.
I think if you get an injury, you have to have an injury to be able to make a roster change.
But you guys were giving me some education there. And look, the Rangers, this is a fascinating situation for them because they thought they were maybe going to be the division winners, obviously, and have the bye. And they don't get it done this weekend, and Houston sneaks in and gets the bye and gets home field advantage. So fascinating on that. And now they're here at Tropicana Field. So I am ready for this later today, and we'll see what it looks like. We'll see what the crowd looks like and the atmosphere looks like. I know this. I have talked to easily 10 people in the last, let's say, 24 hours since yesterday morning that are all going with family, with friends, with whomever. My wife teaches elementary school up here in Northwest Hillsborough County. The sign-outs today for people signing everybody out, signing their kids out. There are teachers trying to go as soon as school is over. So we'll see. We'll see what the crowd looks like. But this is postseason baseball. This is what it's all about. You've won 99 games in the regular season, and now it's on to the postseason, and let's go enjoy ourselves. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that Astros series. I was out in right field, right where near where you were. I think that was also the game where Kiermaier got the ball off the wall to Adames.
Yes.
And they got Altuve.
They got somebody at the plate. Oh, my God.
Altuve at the plate. That place freaking went bananas.
I still remember because I didn't see it live.
Kiermaier to Adames to d'Arnaud.
Oh, my God. So I did not see this part live. But when that ball cleared the wall, the place erupted, so I can't see to the left. So we're like cheering. But the replay of Kiermaier coming around first when he saw the ball go off the wall, and he came completely off the ground with two fists in the air. I'm like, the Astros are done today. They can go get on the bus and go back to the Vinoy or wherever they're staying. They're done today after that home run. And you're right, that play, that reminds me now on that play, the place went berserk on that play at the plate. Let's hope we get some memories like that today. Maybe not have to be as dramatic, but let's hope we have some fun with that today.
Definitely. I hate the Rangers. I hate the Astros. I don't know who I hate more out of the Saints. Saints I probably hate. Rangers I hate because they were, tortured the Rays. I
feel you on the segue. Are you segueing to the Buccaneers? Go Bucs? Are you segueing?
No, I am, and I want a story from New Orleans because I know it was loud there. Go ahead and compare New Orleans to Minnesota a little bit. Give me that comparison.
Can I confess this on FanStream, JP? I think it was louder in Minnesota than it was at the Superdome. I'm not saying it wasn't loud, but maybe it's just because they had the music up so loud in Minnesota that you could hear it back here in Tampa Bay. It was loud, but then the Buccaneers did a great job of taking the crowd out of the game several different times with their play.
17-play drive will do that. 9 minutes.
And so they were their own best friend in dealing with the noise. Yes, the noise got to them 2 or 3 times with false starts. Dave Moore made a great point because he lived this for so many years. He said, one of the things you have to be careful of, and Baker's got to be careful of this too, is when you come up to the line and you are in your stance as an offensive lineman and nobody can hear, and you're looking to your left on the end of the line of scrimmage, and you're trying to look back at him. Is he changing the play with a hand signal? And you are there in your stance, and it's 4 seconds, and it's 6 seconds, and it's 7 seconds, and we haven't snapped the ball. You have no idea when the snap's coming again. And you have just lost yourself in the bedlam noise. So he said you got 2 problems. One, you have no idea when the snap is, and 2, you have no get off. You have no get off to go hit the guy in front of you and block him. So his point was try to get up there. And as you get up there, get to the snap within like 4 or 5 seconds, even if you're changing the play, because those guys standing there, especially on the ends by the tackle or the tight end, he's like, I've been there, and you can't hear and you have no get off. But they handled it. They ultimately handled it. And I'm smiling, those that can see us, I'm smiling here on FanStream JP because you'll take 3-1. As we discussed 7 days ago on this program, find a way to go get to 3-1. And I've done a couple of national interviews now since Sunday. I keep saying the same thing. We knew it's not everything that this team is 3-1, but we knew too many stars on both sides of the ball to write this situation off. Yeah. And look at the stars showing up, whether it's Antoine Winfield, whether it's Chris Godwin in this game, Tristan Wirfs stoning the left side of the offensive line from anybody getting on Baker Mayfield. I think I saw he was the highest rated left tackle this weekend from Pro Football Focus, at least through the Sunday games. I don't know about the Monday night game. Certainly wasn't a giant left tackle that was higher rated.
No, definitely not. And Luke Henneke on the right side.
Let's give him some props. And JP, I know you have brought his name up and been critical.
Yes, I have.
Let's give him some love.
Ask Pete Werner.
We called Cam Jordan's name, I think, twice on the broadcast, and one of it was the cheap shot on Baker Mayfield that we'll get to in a second. Luke Henneke did a fantastic job on the right end on him and on others in that game. This is why it's a work in progress. Give it some time here to see how it develops. But that was very encouraging. I mean, go back and watch. I heard you and Nick Geddes talking yesterday on the show. Go back and watch the Baker touchdown to Devin Tompkins and watch Luke Henneke against Cam Jordan, where he blocks him for like 7 seconds and he can't get by him. That is a tremendous teaching video on how to stay with your guy and stay with your guy and stay with your guys some more so that you can get a touchdown out of
without
a quarterback
holding.
running around.
And Werner on Pancakes this morning with Jeff Saturday on Get Up, Henneke got one on his block on Pete Werner where he got him down. He slammed him and then he jumped on top of him. And Werner gave the old dead roach thing too with the arms out like that. It's like, when you give the dead roach, it's like, dude, that's embarrassing for everybody.
Well, and let's talk about that cheap shot at the end of the first half.
Oh my God!
You were critical. You were critical of Sean Hockley, and I'm going to follow up here on the program. I realize I work for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm on the radio broadcast, but this is becoming a clown show with him in two regards. Number one, as you said, all of the conferences and the meetings where you're standing there for 5 seconds. Here we go again, 7 seconds, where somebody make up their mind on what the call is. Because when you're standing there and discussing, you're making it seem like you don't know what to call. You don't know what you saw. There's an argument.
Getting some input from New York or something.
New York, you're indecisive. And over again on an intentional grounding call, on a roughing call, let's pick up the flag. They're calling illegal man downfield on Wirfs on a pass to Cade Otton that's behind the line
of scrimmage. That's what I'm yelling at the TV. I'm like, what is that? Is it behind the line of scrimmage?
But on the cheap shot on Baker Mayfield, and I need the name. Hang on, I got
Nate Shepard.
Shepard, 93. Yeah. I mean, that's a high hit on a quarterback that's being hit low, right in front of Hockley, right in front of the umpire, and they flag it, and they should and could have, but they should have thrown him out of the game.
Yeah, that's an ejection.
It's an
he got up
injure.
like he meant to do it, and he didn't give a rat's ass.
And so you saw later in the day in the Chargers-Raiders game, Justin Herbert rolled out to the right, went to the sideline if you didn't see it, and a Raider hit him one step out of bounds high, and they threw him out of the game.
Of course.
It is referee discretion. Are we protecting with player safety the quarterback or not? And I thought that could have been an ejection at field level. I'm right
could have
there.
Been an ejection.
Now, I didn't stay with that when he threw the ball to Otton. I saw that. I looked back at the aftermath at Baker rolling around on the ground, and our guys are describing, Dave saying, hey, that was a high-low hit after the throw. How do you not throw him out of the game?
And here's another thing, TJ. In that situation where you get a touchdown, all right, so you elect on the kickoff to take the penalty. So, the Bucs tried to use it to their advantage, and they mortar kicked it.
Yes.
But then you just call a fair catch. And it's first and 10 at the 25. That should be 1st and 25. If you get in that situation, you should be able to elect on the first down to take the penalty. So it's 1st and 25 from the 15 or from the 10.
Well, and the other thing is
not 1st and 10 because there's no penalty.
I like it. I like it. And they went over to Todd Bowles and said, do you want the ball on the 1 yard line for the 2-point conversions? Instead of the 2, it's at the 1. Which, how much of a benefit really is that for a 15-yard penalty to move 1 yard?
It's not.
Whether you're going to go for it. So I like your thinking there on that it's 1st and 25 from wherever you start.
Because now that's going to cost you a possession.
Yeah, right. There was some thought there of, are you going to just squib the ball down to him because you've got a quicker 15 yards to run to him and hit him? They did a great job of keeping it away from Shaheed on those punts and on those kickoffs from him being a weapon. So a complete performance. And can we talk for a few moments about Antoine Winfield? You guys. We
already have, but let's do it again.
Hey, the man. Jason Light's on the line too. Extension.
I know. And And I keep saying it this way on all the conversations. He is not to the level of Rondé Barber. He has not done it for a decade like Rondé did. And I know you and I were tight with him. I'm not saying he is Rondé Barber. I'm saying he reminds you of Rondé Barber. Because when you can come off the edge and sack the quarterback, when you can go in and hand fight with running backs on tackles and get the ball out of there and then go run 40 or 50 yards and make a play like he did in the end zone on Olave, like we've all been saying, that's a touchdown. Yep. That one was right in front of me. I had a perfect vantage point from about the 20-yard line. That ball's coming down right to Olave in the back of the end zone. David Carr or Derek Carr got it there. And if Antoine Winfield doesn't hustle in the final 3-4 steps and dive and knock that ball out of there, it's probably 6 points. It's likely 6 points. So big moment there. Tremendous player. And it bodes well. If you keep him healthy, it bodes well for what else this team can do moving forward. And he's got a great attitude. He has got a great attitude. Levante let the nickname kind of slip out, Tweezy. I don't know where Tweezy comes from, but that's the nickname. I think Tweezy. Why I'll call it Tweezy. He's like, Tweezy, that's our guy, Tweezy. Tweezy making those. Okay, we got to find out what Tweezy is. But
Antoine Winfield, Tweezy.
Saints, I don't know, but the Saints know who Tweezy is after watching.
Right, they do.
I'm sure.
Yeah, that was as much as that. If a defensive player can dominate and win a game, he did it. That was it. That was Sapp versus Favre in '97. Although the Bucs lost that game. It's hard for a defensive player to dominate a football game and change the outcome of it dramatically, and he did that. He did
Rondé to close the vet because it wasn't just the interception. He had a sacked fumble in that game. He had a couple of other pass breakups in that game.
Yep.
Rondé was affecting that game.
Hard to do. It's generational.
Again, the thing that composure of Baker Mayfield, making plays with his feet, making the right decision, getting them into the right play. I know there's been a ton of questioning and criticism of him. It's a small sample. It's 4 games. But how does it look, Buccaneer fans, with this guy being able to make the right decision, get you into the right play, go get something with his feet if he has to? He did that 2 or 3 times on Sunday. So there's a lot of
football. His situational football awareness and Winfield's situational football awareness are game-changing. That's why the Bucs are winning football games, because they have super high football IQ guys making plays when they have to make them, knowing when they need to make plays. That's winning football. And it's every team is good. Every team is talented in this league, but it's those guys that think it through and then can execute it and make the plays when they have to. And on third down, I challenge any team, any quarterback in this league, and I mean any quarterback from Jalen Hurts to the best of the best in this league. Look at their third down numbers. Nobody is even close to what Baker Mayfield is doing, throwing and running the football. He has been phenomenal, and that's where you win games, on third down, defensively and offensively.
And finish off red zones with touchdowns, which, again, huge. They got the big momentum swing where Winfield took the ball away right after the interception. Could have been a downer, and you get a touchdown. And then you get down.
Baker to Otten on a scramble. Baker to DT on a scramble. And a great ball placement to TP on that touchdown. Those 3 touchdowns all tremendous.
And you got 7 and 7 and 7, and eventually you put the game away with the last one to Tompkins there at the goal line, where he keeps the ball, keeps the play alive. And let's talk about this too. You guys were talking about Alvin Kamara. I mean, there was some unique stuff coming out of this game. To catch the ball 13 times and only have 32 yards? 33 yards. All right. And as Nick pointed out, charting it, one of the catches was for 10 yards. So 12 of the catches are for 23 yards. 1 or 2 yards only or nothing.
That's clearly called tackling.
Yes, and clearly Carr's shoulder compromised. He was captain check down. He was looking for the 1 yard and 2 yard pass throughout the game to not zing it down the middle of the field. I don't think he zinged it down the middle of the field, 15, 20 yards down the middle of the field once.
Yeah, he tried to throw a back shoulder to Olave. I think maybe late third quarter.
Sidelines, yes. But he was not risking it down the middle of the defense.
Close. He was 7 yards short on that throw. I mean, it wasn't even, it had no zip on it.
Because it was coming right at me on that one that you're talking about, and it went hot. But he didn't try to zing it down the middle of the field. So they were trying to throw the short stuff. The Bucs realized that. Great job tackling. How about the stat? There have been over 200 times that a player has caught 13 passes in a game. The previous low was 71 yards for 13 catches.
That's
It
crazy.
is staggering that you would have 13 catches and not even get to 50 yards in a game. Great job by the Buccaneers to neutralize him as a weapon, because clearly that was the Saints' game plan, was get it to Kamara in space, let him go get 10 or 15 yards on a low-risk pass.
And I'd probably say
it wasn't happening.
I'd probably say of the 9 tackles that Winfield had, 4 of them were, I think, on Kamara, 2 of them behind the line, at least one of them behind the line. Izzian had a couple of them right there. He played well. Zion McCullum had a couple of tackles on Kamara. And Kamara's he's not easy. In years past, he's not been easy to tackle. He's the king of the yak. And the Bucs were having the Bucs were having none of that. Yeah. None of that.
I mean, we've seen it. We've seen it with him coming in, to games like that, big games where he's killed the Bucs and the tackling was sound last Sunday. And it had all the makings, guys, because he's coming off of the suspension. You expect the offense to get some.
I'll give you the story. So what they do, I don't know if TV showed this, but what they do right before the kickoff is they do their big video presentation like you see at Raymond James Stadium and all the stadiums. Mm-hmm. They do their big thing to hype the crowd, and then they do the Who Dat chant, and sometimes it's a former player, it's a celebrity or whomever that comes out and jumps up in the air and slams their fist figuratively down and starts the Who Dat, Who Dat, Who Dat through the whole stadium. So when they did not introduce the offense to run out of the tunnel, that kind of surprised me. Then I started thinking they're going to have him do the Who Dat thing to fire everybody up. So he came out. They've got the cameras around him. They've got everybody around him. He comes out. They do the whole Who Dat chant. Who knew that was the high point of the day for Alvin Kamara? Was shortly before kickoff, and then it was 86.
He had all day.
Yeah, that's true. It was the biggest cheer for him, all of it, and then it was 86. That's what was the rest.
All right, partner. I know you have some more national obligations. You're a very, very in-demand media icon that you
are.
I
still got a couple of minutes with you to revel in being 3-1. I don't think it's far-fetched to say. And you already see that television has decided, Fox has decided to put this on in a couple of weeks. And who is Philadelphia playing? Forgive me, because Philadelphia is also playing somebody bad. Is it Chicago? Philadelphia is playing somebody bad at 4:25 in 2 weeks. Peter can probably find that real quick. So part of that is they may be looking for a backup game again in case the Chicago, I think it's Philly-Chicago, but maybe I'm wrong. Whoever Philly's playing.
The Creamsicle Lions versus Bucs Old Norris
Who
division.
is it?
It's the Jets.
It's the Jets. All right. So again, if that becomes a one-sided game, they now will start showing Detroit Buccaneers to a lot of the country again. They've been doing this, and I think that's what they're up to because they didn't move Philly and the Jets back to 1 o'clock. They left it there in 2 weeks. If you find a way to come off the bye, and I may be on with you before then, but I'm just calling it right here on FanStream JP on October the 3rd. If you come off the bye and beat this Jets team and you are now 4-1, this is not everything, but you become very, very relevant nationally. And with the games moving forward, that'll probably move. I see that. The creamsicle
thing.
I mean, if you win that game and Detroit is good, you have shut a lot of people up and you've become very much relevant for the middle of this season as one of the best teams in the NFC. You got to start talking about that.
If you beat Detroit, who's I think, they have a great chance to win that division. You are, you're the third, fourth best team in the NFC. Look, it's the Eagles and the 49ers, and we're not in their league yet. But let's see, let's see Gedeke get better. Let's see Cody Mauch get better. Let's see Hainsey start playing better. This team has still not played their super best football. There's a lot of growth. Kalijah Cansey's played 10 snaps.
That's correct.
That dude, I think that dude can be a big time difference maker up front with this pass rush. So, there's some good football ahead of this team. It's not just like they're playing over their heads and they're winning, fluky games. They're playing good football. They're a good football team. They got a good quarterback. They got a really good defensive coach. They got some very good defensive players. They're fast on defense. And you know what? They got some playmakers not named Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Who knew Devin Tompkins could play? Well, I did.
Oh, yeah.
I said last year, get the guy out there and let him play. And, somehow Byron Leftwich couldn't figure out how the fastest guy in the team could help them offensively. Duh. I mean,
use Trey what
Palmer,
you have.
Trey Palmer is a weapon, and dare I say Kate Otton's even making some plays. And Keyshawn Vaughn got a few touches in this game.
Right.
Wow.
Rashad White made some key plays.
And another important part, and then we'll get out of here, is after this, you play 13 straight weeks. So you got to be as healthy as you can be here in October and early November and win some games and build it up, and then be ready for a grind after that. But this is a lot of fun. I mean, again, so many people around the country believe this was going to be a disaster. First-year offensive coordinator, Baker Mayfield will be bad Baker, et cetera. And now you've won 3 of the first 4. Would you rather be the New York Giants and look at what that mess looks like? Would you rather be the Minnesota Vikings, who were awful again on Sunday, but still found a way to come back and beat Carolina, or else they'd have been 0-4?
Yeah.
I mean, nothing is promised to you from year to year. Minnesota won 13 games last year. They look awful. The Giants look lost already. And once again,
league, let alone year.
But I mean, it looks like a lost season. The Giants' next 2 games are Miami and at the Bills. The Giants are likely 1-5. And at that point, you wonder if they are just done for this season. So we love it.
Good thing they owe Danny Dimes about
I'm not surprised. Honestly, I'm not surprised by that, because I thought they were a fraud last year. I think they're a fraud this year. Yes. And it goes back to not only the offensive line, but you're paying a guy $40 million. He had 15 throwing touchdowns last year. I get it. You add 6 to that. Yeah, it's 22. But he is what he is, guys. He's not a good quarterback. You can make all the excuses you want to. He's a turnover machine.
He was a pinata last night against the Seahawks, unfortunately. And they left him in again. Yeah. 3 minutes left in the game, down 24-3. Let's let him get hit a couple more times.
Did you see Dayball look at him after that pick 6?
I know. But I mean, God. It's almost like punishment. They put him back in the game again to get hit more at 24-3 with 3 minutes left.
Dayball, I don't know what Dayball's doing with that.
All right, but in any event,
not smart. All right, go root on the Rays, you guys.
Good Buccaneers start. We're going to hook up with Peter's stories tomorrow. Let's see what the Rays do in game number 1. Always a blast to be with you, my friends.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. All right, quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk some Rays roster, and the starting lineups are out. And much to my agreement, Kevin Cash started the right shortstop, so we'll get to that. We're brought to you by the great folks at Italiano Insurance. Get your insurance shopped, whether it be your auto insurance, your health insurance, your mortgage insurance, every kind of insurance under the sun. They can save you money. Let them shop it around. They will do the work. You save the money. 813-877-7799. Italiano Insurance. Tell them JP sent you. Back with the Rays lineup for postseason baseball after this.
Coins sitting around the house. Well, the Golden Diamond Source will purchase a variety of different types of coins and bullion. Their gold buying program includes sterling silver, silver, platinum, and watches. They also accept unusual pieces that other jewelry stores do not, such as gold bars and sterling silver flatware. The list of items they do accept is far more extensive than those they don't, so check it out. While you're there, you can check out the largest collection of any family-owned jewelry store in the country, especially with summer coming to an end. The holidays are right around the corner. Never too early to start your holiday shopping, especially if you're planning on getting engaged or have any birthdays or anniversaries coming up. Come on in and find out what buying jewelry should be like with an expert staff of gold and diamond jewelry enthusiasts. And the best part, they treat you like family. And if you're worrying about price, don't. The Golden Diamond Source has something for everyone's budget. They even have a layaway. If you stop in and get your favorite piece now, you can have it paid off by Christmas. Plus, you can even finance your purchase with 0% interest for up to 5 years, and you can get a $5,000 diamond for only $83 a month. It's the greatest folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub, the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. It will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Well, Fitz the mortgage guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man, Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to scott@amstampa.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. It's playoff baseball day. We're in our Rays blue. At least you are. Although mine is a Lightning hat, though. The Lightning are going to be playing in Orlando this evening.
That's all right. You're representing the Lightning. I can understand that. That's another winning.
Little pre-season game as they get set to open up next week to a packed house. And I'll be doing the preseason game on Thursday night at Amalie Arena. We'll be doing a little rehearsal over there. By the way, lots of new stuff in Amalie Arena. They've redone a lot of the place. Vinnick's put a lot of money into the Channel Club. It's no longer the Chase Club. It's now the Channel Club.
Wow.
Redid all the new tables in there, all new flooring. Definitely needed a facelift there. So that's what you get.
Good stuff. Yeah. I'm
always putting money back in, making the fan experience as good as it could be.
Yeah, Jeff Vinnick and Alexander just walks by, doesn't care. He weren't a live show. He doesn't care. He just walks by.
Come on by.
Yeah, just come on by. Yeah, Jeff Vinnick investing into his product. That's the reason why the fans invest in him. But again, this is not about ownership here. The Rays are getting ready for a postseason match versus the Texas Rangers. Are they up there as being, the thorn in the side of the Rays besides the Astros? I mean, you had the Red Sox in postseason. I really haven't met the Yankees ever in postseason, by the way. But it's the Red Sox, it's the Rangers, it's the Astros for me, and then the Dodgers a couple years ago. But I really hate the Texas Rangers. Again, it's up there with the Saints and the Rams for me.
Yeah, well, the Rangers and the Rays they've had their postseason meetings, and the Rangers have dominated the Rays. So they definitely need to flip this around. No question about it. We got the starting lineup here.
I'm looking on Mark Topkins' Twitter feed here, and I'm not finding anything. I don't know what is going on at this point. That's the guy I usually go to. What do you got on your?
I mean, our esteemed commenters here say we have Taylor Walls at shortstop.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the starting lineup, so I don't see anything on the Rays website.
I don't either. I'm looking for it at this point. Let me just see what I can find out here. I don't know what's going on. You go to the proper websites and there's not anything there.
I don't see it.
I don't see it.
All right. Well, we did the roster already. So Luke Raley did not make it. Jose Siri did. 3 rookie infielders, Curtis Mead, Basabe, and 20-year-old Junior Caminero on the postseason roster, who was in Double-A 2 weeks ago. That's very, very rare, folks, by the way, in case you didn't know.
RJ Martin says, what do you think about Margot instead of Lowe and left fielder? Yeah.
Well, clearly he's seen the freaking lineup. How come we can't find it?
I'm trying to.
RJ, go ahead and post the lineup. Where are you seeing this, RJ? Yeah, and by the way, I said put Walls at short. I'm telling you, folks, you don't need one error. Say Glasnow's pitching a gem, right? They get a hit. You got a runner on first, and then a double play ball, right? And you got some rookie kicking it, and now you got first and second, nobody out when it should be 2 outs, nobody on, right? And they get a run or 2 out of it. You can't have that, man. You just can't have that. So I'll sacrifice the offense, potential offense, for a guy that's going to be rock solid at short and not just make the routine play, but make the great play that can save runs. And that's what Taylor Walls does. And that's what and you got what, Margot in left field?
Yeah, here's the lineup here. Our good friend Tim just sent it. Yandy Diaz leading off, of course, the batting title winner with his 340 average. Yep. Randy Arozarena in left field at second. Harold Ramirez at third at DH. I'm not going to say how do you say it? Paredes. Isaac Paredes at number 4 there. At third base, Curtis Mead hitting 5th. At second base, Manuel Margot, right field 6. Taylor Walls 7. At shortstop, as we talked about, Jose Siri back in center field at 8. And Rene Pinto, who has definitely found a home with the Rays, not only with his framing, but also with some surprising power, which is the reason why the Rays moved on from Francisco Mejia in the first place. So there you go.
I like it. That's what I would have gone with against Jordan Montgomery. Randy's got to step up. I know he's struggled a little bit down the stretch with some strikeouts. He's got to step up. We got to get some offense going. You scored 1 run in 15 or 24 innings last year at Cleveland. You got to be better than that. I think this offense has been better than that. They're playing at home, which is a big deal. The crowd should be in their favor. This is a series you should not lose against a team that's kind of limping into the playoffs in the Rangers. And I wouldn't exactly, Jordan Montgomery's a good pitcher. He's not a dominant pitcher. No. He's not a dominant pitcher. Evaldi is not dominant.
He's not Cliff Lee. Okay. No. And it bothers me still.
Cliff Lee in his prime. Yeah.
We talked about this at the time because I believe we were at the same radio station. I remember listening to you about it, then having a show right after you and screaming on top of the rooftops how the Rays should have traded their prospects and went after Cliff Lee because he's a game changer at that point. And I felt like if Lee would have been traded to the Rays, most likely you would have been talking about a World Series champion because they were that good. They just needed that final piece. But then again, you look at what the Rays have done this year. Look, you're not going to trade your prospects. Okay, then they're going to play them. I'm okay with that. See, if you left them down, in minor league baseball and don't play them, I'm not okay with that. But if these guys are going to make contributions, which they have, the last couple months, all right, let's roll. Let's do it. I understand it now.
All right, here's the Texas lineup, by the way. Marcus Semien. Playing second, leading. Batting second, playing shortstop, Corey Seager. Still, shut up! Golly, so juvenile. Can't believe you said that. Robbie Grossman will be the DH. Adelis Garcia in right field will be batting in the cleanup spot. Nathaniel Lowe, Nate Lowe at first, former Ray. Nate Lowe at first, let him get away. Jonah Heim, catcher, batting 6th. Leody Taveras in center field, batting 7th. Josh Jung playing 3rd, batting 8th. And Evan Carter in left field, batting 9th. So that is your Rangers lineup. Jordan Montgomery on the hill against Tyler Glasnow. Once again, Diaz, Arozarena, Ramirez, Paredes, Mead in the 5-hole. How about that?
Yes.
Manuel Margot, Taylor Walls, Jose Siri, and Rene Pinto. So, they got one left-hander in there and Taylor Walls. So
well, there you go. And the Lowe brothers there facing each other, of course, the underlining story, which is sad, but you always look for one of those storylines during the postseason. Mother is suffering. This came out yesterday, dealing with brain cancer. So, thoughts and prayers with both of those guys, because, it's more than baseball, but, maybe that's one of those things that it's going to be talked about. It has to be talked about because you have to find storylines. That's a storyline that you're going to find. And, I think it favors Josh at this point because Josh has had a tremendous year. Look, if you don't have Josh Lowe this year, I think you lose a lot of those games. And look, the way he came up, and as we talked about it, the reason why you trade Austin Meadows in the first place, right, to Detroit is because of this young kid. And at first, he didn't start out well, not great plate discipline, not taking the ball to the other fields. Now that's improved this year, and you can see the reason why. And he's not a finished product by any means, JP. You would have to agree with this, that he's only going to get better with time.
No, he's just a kid, man. He's just a kid. And he's got the tools. He's got he's got all-star level tools. There's no question about that. He can run. He's got power. He can be an even better defender than he already is.
Yeah.
He's got all the tools. It's just got it. But can you do it in the postseason? This is how real stars are made, and that's in the postseason. Is our phone ringing? By the way, my friend's trying to call in.
Yes,
Mr. Negative is trying to call in.
Let me go ahead and call him back because I wasn't sure what that number was. I've had bill collectors call me this morning. I had people call me, try to wish me happy birthday.
Happy birthday!
Right, happy birthday. All right, stop calling unless you're going to call the show. So hopefully this is them. Let me go ahead and dial this up here. Stand by.
That's our good friend Stuart Levine, Mr. Negative. We'll have to talk him off the ledge as we do with many Buck fans, but even he at 3-1 has got to be a little positive about this Buccaneer team.
All right, is it Stuart?
Yes, Stuart. What's up, Mr. Negative?
No, I have to be negative to be positive.
Oh God.
Seriously, if you're not negative, you can't be positive because from everything bad comes something good. And
wow,
I don't know how those
some crazy ass drunk logic right there, but I follow you, brother. I wanted to have you on because you're the guy that when Baker Mayfield, the first few series in the opener, he's like, "This guy sucks, JP. What are we doing with his bum?" I'm like, "Relax, bro. He played for 2 minutes in the preseason. Give him a little bit of time here, and maybe they'll get it going." So now, at 3-1 through the first quarter, how you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good, be honest. I don't want to feel too good because I really like being negative. I feel that's like a real positive thing.
You're just one of those guys. You just can't stand prosperity. Right? Marcus
well,
Seaman.
Listen, I love prosperity, but you have to have hard times before you can appreciate the good times. And what I don't understand. I mean, I like team sports. I'm all into team sports, but when some guy does an illegal procedure, or a receiver lines up wrong, a defensive lineman has his hand over the line. I mean, the lack of discipline drives me crazy. I don't know how teammates look at a guy who just stopped a 30-yard gain because they switched before the ball was snapped at. How do they deal with that? I want to kill them.
You know how they deal with it? Because he who is without what do they say? Sin could throw the first stone. Yeah, everybody makes mistakes. You can't go crazy in team sports because you're going to be the guy that does it on the next play, and you don't want them coming down on you. It's like the USF game. At Sean Atkins, right? He muffs a punt, gives Navy 7 points, and what does Alex Golesh do? He says, "Hey, we're going to need you. We love you. We're still putting you back there. We're not going to
because they switched before the ball was snapped at.
I know.
How do they deal with that? Now I figured. Now I know why they asked me to leave the pickleball court. I see.
Getting a little feedback here. I'm not sure what's going on.
That was go ahead.
No, I said now I see why they asked me to leave the pickleball game.
Because you're one of those guys. Yeah.
No, I'm a team player. But I intentionally do not go to anyone's house to watch a Bucs game because I invariably am not happy the entire time. And even when they win, I have a reason why they could have done better, but I don't know. That's a personal issue I got to deal with.
As a Bucs fan, you would think you've gone through enough misery that you would embrace, the good times. It doesn't always happen. So it's been a pretty good run the last 4 years. A few divisional titles in a row, even though last year was not great, not the greatest. At least they won the division. And now you're off to a 3-1 start. Trust me, we're gonna suck again. Trust me, we will suck again. So if you're not enjoying this, bro, I don't think I'm inviting you over. I really don't.
No. I'm absolutely 100% enjoying it. I keep sending you negative text, JP, because every time I do, we win. And in fact, you've been encouraging it lately because you feel as though it's going to be good luck.
Yes.
And I've been a fan since '76. My father had season tickets for 20 years.
Wow.
So
nice.
I'm deep buck.
Yeah. So how do you seriously though? How do you like this team, and how do you like Baker? I mean, like somebody put up in our comments, this is a lovable team, and I agree. There's so many great personalities on this team, and guys that a lot of chip on the shoulder type guys, a lot of undrafted guys that are just playing great football. How do you not like just the character of this team?
Well, I love the character of the team, and what I really like is what they're building on. I mean, everyone is improving every single game, and literally almost every play. I thought Rashid White was tapping around, not hitting the holds hard, not putting his head down. Yeah, and now he's doing it. I felt the offensive line wasn't being aggressive. They weren't finishing plays. They weren't taking guys to the ground. But now they're doing it. All these receivers are getting an opportunity. When an Evans goes down, they step up and make big plays. The Thompson guy is so exciting. Winfield in the back is doing amazing. Villa with a chest pull is in there playing every down, working hard. You know, White coming back to the team and being a good attitude guy. Devontae David just doesn't stop. You got rookies stepping up, and Ezon coming in and making interceptions. The first rookie to ever have in the history of the NFL have 2 interceptions in the first 2 games.
How about
There's
that?
a lot of exciting things to talk about.
Wow, Stuart, you're going to spontaneously combust with all that positivity right there. That was like 60 seconds of positivity. Who are you? I don't even know you anymore.
I got to ask him, how did he feel about Baker? Because the whole negativity with this fan base was Baker, Cleveland, all these multiple teams, offensive coordinators. He's the next Jameis Winston. I mean, were you in that boat with Baker Mayfield too?
Bro, I'm so glad my bookie stopped taking my bets, because I would have lost a lot of money on frickin' Baker Mayfield. I'm telling you, that'd be a broke lawyer right now.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I took every Baker Mayfield prop over, and he's going to smash them all. He's going to smash them all unless he gets hurt.
I'm telling you, I heard, it may have been from UJP, that Coach Bowles and Baker are like really tight, and that Bowles has been a really tremendous influence on just Baker mentally.
Yeah,
well, Baker,
one of the reasons 2018. I mean, they talked about that. Yeah.
Bowles, big reason he's here.
And I'll tell you this: I was not a Bowles fan. I couldn't stand Bowles, and you'll remember, JP. I said to Texas is all Bowles. He's been taking risks. He's letting Canales call his plays, and Canales is learning too. Our offensive coordinator's learning along the way what works for the players he has in the positions he has them. It's exciting.
Listen, I've said this so many times with my disclaimer on Bowles, because I love him so much as a human being, and he's a great dude, but he did not coach well last year, and his track record as a head coach has not been good. Just, you got to be objective in my position, but I'm rooting for him, and he's completely changed the way he coaches this team. He's much more in charge. Last year was dysfunctional, and it wasn't all his fault. It was more Brady's fault than anybody else. That caused all that dysfunction. And now he said, screw it. I'm going to get the coordinator that I want, that runs the offense, that makes me crazy. And I'm going to go get the players that I want, and Todd, and sign my players in the free agency, my defensive players. He's put it all together. His fingerprints are all over this 3-1. And I, for one, could not be happier to eat some crow on Todd Bowles. And he hadn't coached well. I didn't say he was, he couldn't get it done. I said, let's see it. Let's see you manage games better. Let's see you, have your guys accountable. Let's see you energize this team. And he has. So tip of the cap to Todd Bowles. He's done a hell of a job, but you got to keep it going. A 3-1 does not a season make. So let's keep it going and see what happens. This could be a fun year.
Yeah, I'm with you on the Todd Bowles. I'm on the Todd Bowles bandwagon, and I agree with you. When you got a Hall of Famer in a Tom Brady, it's kind of hard to be the leader, even when you're the coach. You kind of lean on that guy. Now you bring in a Baker who's on his last leg, his last real opportunity to be a starter, and now he's looking up to you. And you've got a new offensive coordinators looking direction from you. Now you're in control and can start doing the things that you believe make a good football team.
That's a storyline right there.
Yep.
Guys looking for new contracts, White and Evans, guys on their last leg, Baker Mayfield. It sounds like kind of a playoff team to me, or possibly, I don't know, maybe as crazy as this sounds and far-fetched, maybe we're talking about this team. You never know. You get in, who knows? Maybe it can make some noise.
Stop.
Just saying.
Stop.
It's a perfect storyline, is it not? I mean, come on.
Yes.
You've heard this
No.
before. This sounds
That is
like
the line.
Yes.
That is the line.
Yes.
And I hope he's the coach of the year. I really do.
Yeah.
I mean, we all mature at different times. We
It's
all
happened
mature
before.
at different times. Some people make an app when they're 22 and become billionaires, and the other guy does it when he's 75. And so maybe Bowles is just in the right place at the right time with good ownership that gives them the tools that are necessary to be effective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Stuart. Thanks for bringing some positivity to your negative world. You're going to have a really good day today, I bet.
Thank you, guys. Much appreciated. Good show. Great talking to you.
Big
All
Bucs
right.
fan right there.
Good
My good
stuff.
friend Stuart Levine right there.
Good
Hell of a
stuff.
golfer, too. All right, we got to get one more break in before we get out of here. So quick break. We'll be back on the other side. Got a couple of stories I want to get to, one somewhat tragic and one kind of funny. So we'll do that when we come back. Stay with us.
Do you have any old coins sitting around the house? Well, the Gold and Diamond Source will purchase a variety of different types of coins and bullion. Their gold buying program includes sterling silver, silver, platinum, and watches. They also accept unusual pieces that other jewelry stores do not, such as gold bars and sterling silver flatware. The list of items they do accept is far more extensive than those they don't, so check it out. While you're there, you can check out the largest collection of any family-owned jewelry store in the country, especially with summer coming to an end. The holidays are right around the corner. Never too early to start your holiday shopping, especially if you're planning on getting engaged or have any birthdays or anniversaries coming up. Come on in and find out what buying jewelry should be like with an expert staff of gold and diamond jewelry enthusiasts. And the best part, they treat you like family. And if you're worrying about price, don't. The Gold and Diamond Source has something for everyone's budget. They even have a layaway. If you stop in and get your favorite piece now, you can have it paid off by Christmas. Plus, you can even finance your purchase with 0% interest for up to 5 years, and you can get a $5,000 diamond for only $83 a month. It's the greatest folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub, the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Hey guys, are you experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had? It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well, so do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability, not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves. Call for a free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local, we're trusted. The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you. The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled team with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Just a few minutes here to get into a couple other stories. I mentioned this one at the top of the show. Haven't got any other real details yet, but the investigation is still ongoing. In Apopka at a Pop Warner field last night, 3 players, young players, got involved in an altercation on the field, like happens all the time, right? One of them went out to the parking lot, got a gun, and shot the other 2. Both of the kids are going to be okay. They're going to survive. One got hit in the arm, one got hit in the upper chest. Thank God, didn't do more damage. But they have not released the ages of the children yet, and I'll be interested to see what they are. But once again, I don't know what we're teaching kids these days, but gun violence is not the answer to it. And the access. Listen, I'm not a gun. I'm a big supporter of the Second Amendment, but the adults in the room have to make sure that guns are not accessible to kids. For God's sakes, let's be smarter. Let's enforce the rules that we have and the laws that we have, and be smarter about this. And if there's an adult that was careless with the firearm and allowed their children to get at it, they need to be held accountable. The gun doesn't pull the trigger, folks. It's the stupid people that don't handle their guns correctly and teach kids and everybody else, the safety for guns and how they should be treated like the deadly weapons that they are. And not to mention the violent video games and everything else that we got going on in this ridiculous society that we allowed it to continue. It's not like this in other places, folks.
Well, it's not. And you know what? You had violent video games back, 20, 25 years ago, or you had violent movies. You know what the difference was? Parenting. You were able to discipline. And I sound like an old guy, being 45 years old, but I talked about it yesterday. You didn't get away with this stuff. You got disciplined, you got grounded, you got your stuff taken away. I don't think you have enough discipline these days in society. And also,
completely true.
You have younger.
Well, you can't even discipline your children anymore. Your children are supposed to be able to make decisions like, cutting off their genitals at 12 years old. No, there needs to be more parenting involved.
Agree.
The Trevor Bauer story is absolutely incredible. He's finally able to, through the legal process, find the text messages for this woman who claimed that he raped, and The Athletic reported that he fractured his skull, which they had the medical records, and falsely reported that Trevor Bauer, this is The Athletic, by the way, fractured her skull. And this woman, it was a complete and utter setup job. Her text messages proved this is like, who's my next victim? It's Trevor Bauer. I'm going to go get the bag. Watch how I set this guy up, the whole nine. And the media, everybody that reported all this bull crap about Trevor Bauer needs to retract it all and tell his story, vindicating him. And this is the problem with the media that turned him as a predator.
It's all out there now. His reputation is basically ruined. I mean, you could sue not only media, you could sue Major League Baseball. I get it. There's a morality clause, but come on. He's guilty of what? Putting himself in a bad situation?
And we talk about believe everyone. No. You can't believe everyone, because a lot of people have ulterior motives, as we've seen in this particular situation. Terrible. All right. Our thanks to Scott Reynolds and TJ Reeves. Happy birthday to you, Peter Blake. Have a great time at the game. Go Rays. We will be back tomorrow. Same time, same channels, with more fun and frivolity. We will see you then. Go Rays.
Go Rays.